passed on,
Sorry.
I've passed on that we are interested in having the show from July, what did I say, to August and September. And that we would, September, and they will get back to me with information, but I've heard nothing at this point.
Okay.
Second, it's April. In August, we're going to be calling people. We need a new president. We need a new treasurer. We need a new secretary. We need a new, first vice president.
First, and then we need a
And
second.
sorry, we've had it for 2 years. It's time for the membership to step up and step forward and take it. So start thinking about what you'd be interested. I'm going to mention this every month. So hopefully we'll get some people who are willing to volunteer. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same position we were in 2 years ago when it looked like we were going to go away. So if you want the guild to continue, think about it.
You know, we were what, a month away from going away?
Yeah.
And
Actually, it turns out we weren't a month away because nobody did the reporting.
okay,
We almost went away this year.
so we went away with that. So another thing that Audrey brought up over an email was, why do we spend time reading the secretary's report? She says, is there a way we could put that on the website or on an email pass out so that everybody can read it? So that the next meeting, that the president would. Pardon?
I have no problem with that.
Okay, so that would be, you read your email, you'd read all the reports and everything, kind of like a mini newsletter. And then you read it, then when we come back to the next monthly meeting, the president says, you've had a chance to read your email, the secretary's report, whatever else report was in there. Is there, any changes, additions, then that goes away. And then new old business is also added to that request, could be discussed. And that way, hopefully we could shorten our business time to say we could turn it over to have more time with our program. Anybody opposed to that?
Good idea. I'll try. I will do this.
Okay, well, Maggie, working with her to get out these reports and send it back and forth. And I need to send her a note and things like that, that we can publish that. But so reading through some of the Calligraphy, actually there's just 2 pieces of paper folded that gives you 8 faces, little faces of report.
No,
We don't want to restart that.
We don't want to restart that.
Okay.
Do not want to start that.
Yeah, well, that answered that one. So Calligraphy could actually be emailed.
Oh, well,
We call it that.
then people have to write articles for it.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, you got to fill all the pages.
Well, if it's an email, you
But
can
you-
do it on one page.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do that. Now, if you want to put in
No, I'm not. gonna do
dibs
it.
and tips,
I did calligraphy for years and that was a lot of work.
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So any other old business, new business?
So I volunteered before space administrator and to help with the yes, to help the treasurer, because I really do believe I can figure out PayPal or get that working so that it's.
Good luck getting hold of your bill.
Well, I mean,
You can try it. You
in
can
any
try it.
case, I would be willing to try as
Okay.
the website administrator. I really don't know anything about that, but I'm also thinking it can be difficult.
Best I can tell you, it gives Gavin a fit. Cindy looked at it and she says, Dad, it's a wreck.
Are we talking Facebook or?
No, that was
We're
on
talking the
website.
online.
So,
The online websites, nobody knows how to access it. We don't have the tools to do it.
Oh, so you need to have.
Yeah, you've got to have tools.
Okay.
So we need to develop a new website or do away with it.
And you can't reset it because it already exists.
Yeah.
Not able to get it.
No,
no,
nobody. can get
nobody
into
can
it.
get into it. Judy can't even get into it. So whatever has been done is locked through Memphis Calligraphy Guild out of accessing website and PayPal.
Where is it housed?
I don't know. Let's see, we're
I
sending
think that
a
was the issue.
3 month, every month you were getting a $3 fee from Dreampost to maintain the server. And the server's name
It
is.
should have automatically.
We need,
Excuse me for
Yeah.
interrupting, but it's 7 o'clock.
all right,
Let's go on.
Yeah,
yeah,
This
so,
is
too much.
for this
okay,
board.
do I hear a motion to close the business session? Okay, and so everybody say.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Yeah.
Peggy. Oh, well, while she's getting up, I have pointed pens from ancient times. These are Esterbrook. And I dare say that these are probably something out of the 40s and 50s, could be even 30s. But you're welcome to come grab a handful. And also found this in the library, and it is the congressional record for tribute to calligraphers, and it's for the Memphis Calligraphy Guild in recognition of outstanding and valuable service to the community. But this was done for our 2003 calligraphy project at City Hall, and I can tell you that it was a large bit of calligraphy in there.
Also, I have 3 handbooks out here, calligraphers engagement, and if anybody's interested, take them, please.
There's several boxes in there without them.
You have to do this 1 and 2. So that's mine. This is at 48. Sandra couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to do part of this program for her. And then the rest is mine, and we're going to do. Those all get cut. Just hand them out, please.
3 different ones. That's what I was asking you.
These are all the same. Two?
1, 2, 3.
No, these
What's this?
These are the same, see?
Okay. 2 different ones.
Okay, let's start with Sandra. You're getting 2 handouts. The double page one is Sandra's, and I'm going to talk about that first card that she did. Let's try some of these.
Jackson still.
Okay,
It's-
hang on a second. Let me see if I can reverse that. I had there was. Virtual background, there was something that I was able to.
Does Peggy need the mic?
I'd have to appear.
No, somebody on the mic could hear it.
Oh,
These are, okay. Okay.
Yes. Which one it is?
Okay,
Oh, there's 202.
we're upside down again, aren't we?
Okay.
Hang on, I can rotate it.
Figure this out.
Okay, I can rotate it 90 degrees if we need to.
There we go. All right, this is the one I'm talking about. And you can actually cut this up and do it or trace it onto a piece of cardstock. And let me show you the lip card. It's got a pull tab and you pull it up. Oops. And the flower stands up. Now, I had to do it at home to figure out how to do it. I mean, there are written instructions there, but I had trouble with it. So I'm going to send this around, and wherever there is a paper clip, that edge gets glued and this edge gets glued. Because once you glue it, then you can it will work. These two pieces get glued together, but not to the back of it. So let me send these around so you can see them. See, that's my phone. Turn it off. Oh. Okay. So that's that. The other sheet that she included in there is her ideas for doing, if they ever received one of Sandra cards, you know how creative she is.
Oh,
And she gave you some ideas on what to do. This little one, it looked like wrapping paper, a piece of Scotch tape, some fine thread, and again, I will send these around. They are glued onto the envelopes, so please don't tear them off the envelopes. Here's another one where she cut up a doily, a red doily. And here's some with stickers. So let me send these around. Sandra always has some really good ideas, and they're worth looking at. Oh, yeah. Nice. If you're going to be making a card, and these I'm going to be talking about clean and simple. And basically, a clean and simple card has nothing but okay, right. Get this right. It has nothing but stamps on. I mean, just something on the front of the card. So your card, it's just this is just your base card. And when I'm doing cards, I use 110-pound paper. You can use the stuff you get at Michael's. That's about 60, but you got to glue a bunch of stuff on it to give it some body. Otherwise, it's just lead. So this is a clean and simple, nothing to it. This is a top fold card. Now, most people who do cards online take a sheet 8.5 by 11, like so, and they'll cut it in half, and they get 2 cards out of it. They can also do it 8.5 by 11 and cut it lengthwise, and they get 2 top fold cards. I'm different. My cards are a little bit bigger than I like a little bigger card. I really do. So mine are 9 by 6 1/4. These, the smaller ones are A2. You can find envelopes anywhere. Mine, I have to special order, and the last time I did, I almost had a heart attack.
Oh,
250 envelopes was like $60. But I could callig on them and they didn't bleed, so it was good quality.
And if you do square cards, be aware that the stamps for square cards are more expensive than they
Yeah,
are for
it's
square
worse than
cards.
that. This is another one, that, this is a stamp, and it's just clean and simple, except I glued a couple things on it, so it's not quite so clean and simple. But it'll give you an idea of what you could just take and put this aspect on a white card and it would work. At my desk, I have card. This tells me what paper I've been using. I've got some Nina that I've used. I've got some Hammerhill. I've got the size of my card, so I know exactly what size I'm working on. And where I get my envelopes from. Excuse me, this one. That punch is small. Where I get my envelopes from, and then finally I took a sheet and I did Pigma markers, walnut ink, mixture inks. I did Higgins, which bleeds on this particular paper. I used 4001. I used Cali. I did Sumi. I did McCaffrey's, and I did gouache. So I know what will work on that paper. But if you're going to be making cards, I strongly urge you to find 110. You can get it on Amazon. If Office Depot or Office Max are around, you could get it there. Dan isn't happy. Dan doesn't like my inches. You're not happy with them, but I love inches. Little squares of color, and you can use this, if you've got scraps laying around, just cut them into an inch square. These are like an inch and a quarter. Yeah, an inch and a quarter, an inch and a half, depending on the card. Now this is what you do.
you're not on the screen.
I'd have to have a bigger envelope. That's the other thing. Have your envelope before you start your cards. Otherwise, you're scrambling to find an envelope. This
You have to
one,
make them.
Huh?
Then you have to make them.
yeah, or make them, yes. This one is scraps of things that I had embossed. I'm going to send these all around so you can see it. This one is these are rubber stamps. It's Rowan's rubber stamp, imagine. So I used it on these. Take a look. This is a little more than clean and simple, but you could put it on just a plain card. Oh, and you could I do practice sheets. I do practice sheets, lettering all the time, and I have these left over, and I take a ruler and you can just lay it out and line it and then cut it. Like this. Not going to do much, I'm just going to show you. Now I have a big guillotine at home, and I would probably use that to do that. Or if you've got a 1 inch, a 1 1/4 inch punch at home, you could do it. You could take a ruler and your X-Acto. Now I have
Rotary cutter with a clear ruler works well.
that would work. Anything like that would work. But in this case, I've written on both sides, so I've got 2 colors I can use. And this is heavy paper. So that's something that you could do and create an inchie. Well, I do think I closed this crap. I did. Cinch.
Has she seen him? No, I just.
That's open. Heck with it.
One way to open it
Yeah. These are leftovers from,
was a Ziploc, that's a zip cut.
okay. I have a color block, which is a die cutting machine, and you may have one, I don't know, but mine does. There we go, wishes. And you can use this as here's one, a stencil. This was a stencil that I cut out, and I taped it down on my card, and I went in and colored it. Then I went in with a brown Pigma marker and did some Zentangles. This is printed. I'm very bad. The only time I write on my cards is at Christmas time. It's easier just for me. I have enough stamps that it's easier for me to stamp. So I was going to show you. And I did one of these I had this left over from something that I'd cut out. I had the leaves. And I looked at that and I said, well, what if, and I colored part of this, glued it over that, and then I added a little color along the edges, and it worked. So let me. I don't want to get anything on these tables.
You have something on the back side of that.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Directions. I'm going to. These are makeup brushes. I got them on Amazon for $8 a set. And since then, all over the stamp companies have been coming out with them. You can buy sets of all one size. I just clean them and reuse them for another one. I don't need any. Well, let me show you what I can here.
No, you're not on the screen.
I'll get there. This is Distress Oxide. If you want a little color, tap it off and then start. Baby wipes. And if you don't use them real often, they dry out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, little. Yeah.
Maybe what is distress oxide?
It's a cross between a pigment and a dye ink. And the nice thing about it is if I spritz this with water, it goes kind of milky looking. It gets a really nice texture, and you can layer and layer and layer on it. And I really like it. Now, I also have some of the distress inks at home, and those are just a dye ink. So they work normally, but you can wet those too. Tim Holtz makes those. They like. A lot of my colors are Stampin' Up. So, and I'm kind of ticked with Stampin' Up, so I've been buying other brand. But see now, if I put this over this, and you could add more color. But I would suggest if I was going to do this, I would run a bead of a similar green along each side, cut a real narrow one and glue it in. But that makes a really attractive card, and then all you have to do is add a message. And you can also, for example, you could also do, let's take the dark. You could also use this as a stencil. Yeah. Now I had the S, I still have the little piece for the S, and I could probably put that in there while I'm stenciling with a little of removable tape, you know, and then it wouldn't be that big open. But take a look at those and handle it kind of carefully.
How did you do this one?
It is, the stamp looks exactly like that, and all I did was run my ink pad, here's the stamp, ran it over the top of it. And the flowers were down. They were
That's what I was
recessed.
wondering.
They were recessed. So that particular one, you know, works that way. Yeah. And another thing that I do with these is I've got lots of scrap at home like this. And so I cut them out of the scrap and it's white and I need a color. So you can see what I did here. I laid the leaf on there and colored it. And then I got to looking at it the other day and thought, oh, that looks interesting. I could use that on a card too. So I'm not wasting paper.
And was that a die cut or you cut it?
That's a die cut. And you can cut things out, you know, draw something and cut it out with an X-Acto. You don't have to use it just to die cut. It's a lot of work, but
The other thing is, if you do a good card that you're happy with and you would like to reproduce it,
picture of,
photograph it.
yeah, put it on your phone.
Oh.
That's what I do. I like to put little squares on my cards. And doing just a little thing and then put a message down here. And that's a simple card. Now on this one, I poked a hole and glued it. Some people are bothered by that and they'll just glue another piece of purple paper over it. And this was clean and it was neat and I didn't. This one, this is watercolor paper. And watercolor paper is wonderful when you're working with watercolor. Okay. On cardstock, it gets the paper kind of messes up. So I will do that. But if you'll notice the difference, can you see a difference in the color there? This is white cardstock, that's white watercolor paper, and they're never exactly the same. So I don't like. That's why this is on a blue card. The other thing is when you do this, you can color this with watercolor. You can, this is Spectrum Noir. Have you seen those? They're called watercolor brushes. This works on this and it doesn't go through. And the colors are really nice and vibrant. I have a bunch of alcohol inks, which I absolutely love to work with. But the problem when you put it on this is it bleeds through. So if I'm gonna do that, that has to be glued onto the card.
Felt tip markers too.
Felt it, yeah. This card, to the square, I think it's half a sheet, and I folded it, and I had a square punch, and I punched it. It took a lot of elbow grease, but I did it. And then I had stamped these. This was an old stamping upset, and they were, about this long, and I did several of them, and then I just glued it in. This, all I need is a message, and it's ready to go. Yeah. And here's another. What did I do? Did I do this one? This was something that I cut out, and you could put it on your card, like that. Or once again, if you don't want to make that square, you could do this, make a square, and then just now, if I were at home, I would tape this so that it doesn't move. And you can see how heavy it is up there. I should have wiped it off. But we'll make this good and dark all over. And once I've done this, I'll put this in an envelope or something and keep it, and I'll use it again. That's nice, clean and simple. And then you could stamp something in there while it's, if you're going to stamp something in there while it's laying down, be aware that if the stamped image is not going to go all the way to the edges because it's slightly raised. But if you stamp it afterwards, you can go all the way to the edges and you can go out. And the other thing you can do is add a little detail, however you want to do it. Now, did I have? Okay, so this, and those around.
Hey, do you mind if I take a picture?
Go right ahead, help yourself. Some of those have been in a box for years because I didn't have the heart to send them. I liked them, you know how that goes.
Have to keep the sample of your work sometime.
Yeah. And after a while, some of them I don't use. Why did I do that? All right, this one. I saw this one the other day online, and I thought, oh, that's really easy to do.
Yeah.
And what you need when you do this is your card. And you need a piece of scrap paper that is wider than your card. So then what you do is you just go.
What do you do again? You go, stop it.
Put it on an angle.
Do you have to use that little sound?
And then you take a pencil.
Breaks the creative side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have the sound.
Do you ever have music in the background?
It's, it, I'm going to cut this.
I don't think that is the tiniest cutter, I think.
This little gizmo is, it sits right on my desk for card looking history. But I have a big one downstairs too that I use. But this one is for small stuff.
And I see.
Now, you can take, this is where your scrap papers come through. I went through my thing, my drawer, and I picked out pinks. Okay. And then I thought, well, let's do something different. And I pulled out another sheet of my practice paper and I cut strips. Now I'm going to glue these. This is all one side, okay. Cut that. I don't know how many I'm going to need. Done that at home. In one of the workshops that we did little pieces. We were told to go home and cut things up, and I still got the book at home. And everybody in the class cut out something from they had done, so that everybody had a piece of work from every Bill Womack, James Pierce, but everybody was there. Elizabeth Rondos, Beth, I think you were in that workshop too. And it was a wonderful workshop. Okay, so what I do now, take another piece of paper down. Yes, I'm going to do this. They don't have to all go the same way. This is not hard. It's gonna be really late. Okay. This is simple. Just kind of figure out. Oh, I got some big ones here. So let's do some big lettering. I buy at the store. And these strips can be all different widths and sizes and okay, that's a good starting place. So we'll just go on with that. Okay. I'm going to run at the store. So I'm going to do this off camera. I'm sorry. And I'm going to glue this. Oh, maybe a little more. Let me do this. Now you could glue it down with regular glue. You could use the tape runner. I'm not overly fond of a tape runner, but I do use it, and for this purpose, it's
Double-sided tape would work well with it.
yeah, it would work well too. I had a lot of sheets at home, but the lettering was just too big for this application. And this is one way to use your stuff. More sheets. This be enough? Okay. Yeah, you can see on the back that I've gone over. And all I have to do at this point is run it along the edge. And this gets rid of a lot of stuff that you've got around the house. Keith made me a drawer in my card studio, file cabinet. And I've got all my scraps for green, red, yellow, blue, and I've got them marked as light green, medium green, dark green. I've got green prints. So if I need something in a hurry, I can go into it and find it right away. Now I'm going to
You're off screen.
yes, I know I am. I suggest you line it up against the left side of the card and bring it over to the right. If there's any problem, you can always cut off the right side. But there you go. And all it needs is a message. All it needs is a message. Is there one more? Tape.
Washi.
If you're going to tape around this, you can use painter's tape. But for Pete's sake, if you're going to use painter's tape,
Remove some of the sticky.
I mean, be serious. And when you go to peel it off, peel it very slow and carefully. And I tend to pull it away at a right angle so that there's a, like a night, what is that, 45-degree angle, so that it, and very, very slowly, because if you don't, it will pull up the fibers. And I have sent cards with pulled fibers, and I'm not happy with myself, but I'm not doing the card over again, So just be very careful. So you can use this. You can use washi tape. Washi tape is wonderful because once you pull it up, it never sticks again. It's just not. You can use Scotch removable tape. And I like that. Again, be careful when you pull it up. And there was another one, and I listed it on, artist removable tape. And again, be careful when you pull it up. You'll have better luck on watercolor paper than you will on cardstock. And I like this size because when I'm coloring in here, I have wide enough that I don't go over. But if I'm really, really nervous, I will take and put another piece of cardstock along the edge so I don't get anything on there. It's very easy to do, and I've done it. So, any questions? Did I forget something?
Have you used like a toothbrush with watercolor to spatter?
Yes, you can use a toothbrush with watercolor. You can use a toothbrush with this stuff to spatter.
And alcohol
Okay.
inks.
Especially if you have the little re-inkers. They will work. And I have re-inkers out the wazoo because I really like to do that. Something. Let me find my hand out. Lettering. When you, like I said, take your cardstock and try all your inks, all your gouaches, bisque your inks, anything that you've got, so that you know how it's going to react on that paper. And if you are going to hand letter, practice what you're going to write before you put it on. I want a card, I want it done fast, so I just stamp it, send her. And it's sometimes I will take the time to handwrite. It just depends. Geez, stencils. Yeah, you can purchase stencils already cut And if you want something like this is gonna wear out, you can buy, plastic sheets that they use for quilting, clear, and then cut it out of that, and it will last a long time. And I like having the stencil, the smaller stencils handy, because like I said, I do this all the time. Oh, here they are. These are the Spectrum Aqua. And they have
Tip enough.
they got a tip. And they've got a brush. I got these from my friend Martha when she died, and they're okay. And I use them occasionally. I prefer the alcohol inks because you can blend them really well. And these, they're starting to dry. It's been a few years, so they're starting to dry out.
You're speaking about the alcohol basics. Have you used the Winsor Newton so-called inks? And they are alcohol based or shellac based rather.
Which
And,
ones?
there's a series, I bought them years ago. There's Winsor Newton, and I forgot what.
I've got some acrylic. These are Newton acrylic.
Well, these are not acrylic, they're shellac based inks.
Oh, I have.
They're old and you don't want to use them on a good pen.
No.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you don't want to use them on a brush because it's throwaway basically.
Yeah.
And even with denatured alcohol to clean it. But they soak through just about any paper that I've got.
Oh, and the other thing, the cards, there is absolutely no reason that you just can go, just write a greeting. I like rejoice, celebrate, and with nothing else on the card. If you just spend the time and do some really nice lettering on it, there's nothing wrong with that. And they look wonderful. As a matter of fact, I've got some cards at home like that from people who have done it over the years. They're really special, so let it, just do that. Okay.
Peggy, what do you do for your return address? Do you have a stamp? Do you use for your
I have.
return address?
All of a sudden we got on this mailing list for charities, and they send out. So I've been using those. But this last Christmas, I didn't have anything nice. So I wrote on the back of the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
I created a sheet. It's marked in grids, and I put it underneath there and put it on a light box. And I just wrote it with a Pigma marker or a pointed pen. I don't remember. But if you got a Christmas card for me, you've seen it.
I got a stamp from Josh. It's lovely.
Yeah, you can get a stamp.
Or you can get the imprint.
By the imprint too. Yeah, the post
They're
office
paying.
prefers it on the front, but in a pinch,
I typically put it on the fold down envelope because every once in a while they've said mail to my return address.
Okay. Nope.
Post office does wonderful stuff.
Yes, and they're threatening.
Another price increase.
And not only that, but they're about running out of money.
Yeah.
And if so, will they close it for good? So
Then what UPS and FedEx are not
now what
feasible.
no. And then what is that? If that happens, what happens to wedding invitations? Sympathy cards, birthday cards. A card in the hand is so much nicer than an email. So
Well, if the post office had their way, it seems like that's what's going to happen is all those invitations are going to be sent out electronically. Take a picture of it and send it out.
yeah.
Would anybody like a library book before I start packing up?
And I still have pointed pens over here for you to take. These are antique, very old. They're almost as old as
I'm glad you came.
Older. Good.
You're good?
I gotta send Sandra's back to her.
Hers were at the bottom.
Yeah, I saw it. I just wanted to do a few things tonight. without,
nice.
without overdoing it.
Well, you've got a world of talent and information, and you've shared it before, but this is still new.
Yeah, I went looking for my handouts from previous, so I know in February during the snowstorm, I got up in my studio and I cleaned and everything went out.
Oh,
So,
well,
not smart on my part.
I had a water leak and it got into the kitchen, soaked, ran across the tile floor, soaked the bedroom carpet, so plumber came out and cut a hole in both walls and said, "Oh, I found your problem, fixed it," and I had to move my paper cabinet. And that's a 6 drawer unit, is 24 and a half by 36 and a half inside dimensions. And it had one drawer full of train and all a bunch of papers. And I'm finding stuff in there I haven't seen in 40 years.
Lois needs,
But it's good to get inspired every once in a while.
thanks. You are welcome, very much so. Are you going to not try to fix the gallery to a film?
Oh, well.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Nice.
that's.
I got one. It was many guys ago. But it was me. I did. Yes, I was. So where's that? I was just more cool. Yes. And here.
What, so?
Let's go. It's something things. So just. Which one's your friends? Yeah, we're fixing it. This is
It's on hard make things.
Lois.
That's your opinion. Good for Maggie.
Okay, have a good.
You're welcome. George. I think this work.
Well, it was working, I thought, but and we'll find out.
It's, it's.
Okay, I'm gonna end the record.